let me bring on stage now Niraj Rajmohan, CTO and Co-Founder of Ultraviolet Automotive Private Limited. And also with him is Narayan Subramaniam, CEO and Co-Founder of Ultraviolet Automotive Private Limited. Big round of applause, please, as we welcome Neeraj and Narayan.
Can we play the video, please?
We had a dream. A dream that turned into a vision. A vision of accelerating the future of mobility. A future that became the present with India's most advanced electric motorcycle and Asia's largest battery pack. That evolved a full generation in just 12 months. And unlocked touring for the squadron. That is now 28 cities strong. We've grown, but our spirit is that of the underdog. A spirit that takes Indian engineering to the world. Because why look elsewhere? It's time for India to take pole position in building the fastest Indian. We didn't just step up, we fast forwarded the entire industry into believing we could be the best in the world. But we're only getting started. The question is, what next?
Good evening, folks. I'm Narayan, and with me is my co-founder Neeraj. The next few minutes we'll be sharing time on stage. And what you just saw is a 10-year journey. Started in 2016. It's a story of two childhood friends competing for top rank in school, same university, worked on several projects during college, went our separate paths during our professional journey, spent about 6 to 8 years in various parts of the world, came back to India in 2016 to start what today is Ultraviolet, with the single vision of making in India for the world. Right? And let me go back down memory lane to give you some context on who we are, what motivates us to do what we do. Like I said, we've got a rich history of working on projects involving robotics, avionics, aerospace, automobiles through our time at university and beyond. And what this taught us during those early days when we realized that the syllabus is often outdated compared to what the industry needs is cross-functional innovation can result in magical outcomes. So this is phases where we brought creative design thinking, we brought together mechanics, electronics, softwares to solve problems at fundamentally different approaches. Was a 0 or 1 approach, and today that whole approach is a DNA of what we do at Ultraviolet. So I'm an automobile designer by passion and profession, entrepreneur by consequence. My co-founder Neeraj comes from tech, computer science background. He's also a co-founder entrepreneur by consequence. Both our parents are doctors, so we did not grow up with a business view on things. It was more of figuring out that it's time that someone tried to do something different. We've seen the auto industry here for many decades playing catch up with the East or the West. We've got wonderful products from Japan, Korea, now China. We've got great automobiles from Germany, Italy, US. But why is it the case that in 70 years of Indian two-wheeler history, do we not have products that we are proud of and we can proudly say are at the cutting edge of performance and tech when it comes to the global markets? So this was the lead up to our mindset that got us back to India. I was working in Europe, subsequently in Japan, till about 2014. Neeraj was in the US. Both of us came back to India in about 2015, spent some time figuring out what is the right point to get started. We were clear that building core technology, vertically integrating systems is key to success. And that also meant it's going to be a long journey. So we were prepared for that. We anticipated a 5-year journey to get to market with our first product. COVID struck in 2020, 2021, 5 became 7. And on the 8th year is when we first launched what you see behind me, the F77. So this is the most advanced and most powerful electric motorcycle in the country. And very proud to say that it is the first electric two-wheeler from India to now be retailing across Paris, Berlin, London, and 7 other countries in Europe. A little bit of a backstory. This was our first office space. If you are familiar with Bangalore, you will know Koramangala. This was a 1 BHK on top of I think it was a housing community where the intent was that both of us feel like we're stepping out of home and feels like you're working in a different space. It was a team of 3 back then. We worked on the battery tech because that was the hardest part of the puzzle to crack. Bootstrapped for the first 1 year through our savings. And today, this is our R&D space. From 3, we've grown to a team of 600 people today, about 300 on R&D and 300 across other functions in the organization. And what 8 years of R&D has resulted in is something spectacular. While the first product took us 8 years to launch, which is the F77 that you see on the left, it took us less than 2 years to launch our second product, the X47, which is what you see, the red bike in the center. And later this year, we have 2 products coming in catering towards the mass-oriented segments, which is the entry-level motorcycle and the scooter that we call the Ultraviolet Tesseract. What we've essentially built is the foundational building blocks of technology, which are now modular Lego-like structures for us to cater to different segments, different geographies, and different use cases. And to dig deeper into how we've gone about it, I'm going to hand it over to Neeraj.
So what we were talking about, what Narayan was talking about, how we were engineering, to meet some global requirements, and not just for India, but to be world class in what we are building. Some of the core things that we had to do, we found that there were no real benchmarks, and we had to build out things from scratch. So over a period of 8 years, we built out different versions of our battery technology from scratch, starting out with the battery management systems, the thermal management systems, to every single aspect of the design, the technology, and validation. And over that 8-year period is where we arrived at the technology that is now in production on our motorcycles and is also scaling to other parts of the world. So today we have Asia's highest range on a two-wheeler in terms of going over 300 kilometers with a single charge. So we have the highest power to capacity ratio. This is called the C rate. We have a 5-level safety system which includes thermal, electrical, software, mechanical, as well as electronic, and all of this running on our battery technology that was built in-house over a period of 8 years. Every aspect of the design and engineering of the vehicles was done in-house. This again went back to very fundamentals of engineering in terms of thermodynamics, in terms of fluid dynamics, in terms of what you see on the screen here, wind tunnel testing. All of that had to be engineered to be able to build a world-class product. And that's what we've done with the products that we have put out today. As a consequence of this, we also ended up realizing that to be able to build out of India and not have dependence on any other countries or any other companies, we had to build a lot of the core technology ourselves. So this is where an aspect of vertical integration came in, which means that we had to build out all of these different subsystems by ourselves with the teams that we had. And over that period of time, we ended up building the software, the embedded systems, the battery, the BMS technology, the motor controller systems, the entire vehicle control unit, as well as the charging systems and the back-end software that is running on our vehicles. And each of these by themselves would constitute a company, if you think about it, in terms of today's ecosystem. And this is something that we had to do all in-house to get to where we are. And as a result of bringing together all of this technology, today we have a motorcycle that is certified for 40 different countries and is retailing in several dozen countries today. And this is the first product. This is called the F77 Mark II. This is available in India, of course. And what you'll notice is with the specifications, there are some very, very crazy things. Of course, in terms of what the motorcycle does and the range, it's really fast, it's very quick. In terms of acceleration, sub 3 seconds to 0 to 60, sub 8 seconds, 0 to 100. We also offer a battery warranty that is quite phenomenal and several, like an order of magnitude higher than what is available in the industry, going up to 8 lakh kilometers in terms of usage, right? And that's with the warranty. In fact, what we ended up building while we were very confident of it, this was actually validated in the real world. This is one of our earliest customers, Harish, and what he ended up doing is over a period of about 15 months, he covered 1 lakh kilometers. And his job allowed him to do that, where he could work remotely. And over that period of time, riding 1 lakh kilometers isn't easy, but he covered it and he had, his 1 lakh kilometer moment up in Leh. One of the interesting things that we did is we asked him to bring his motorcycle back to Bangalore, and we tested out the batteries after that, and it was found to be over 96% of its original capacity. And this is something that's phenomenal in terms of electric vehicles to be at that level, even after extended usage. And it's not just this one accomplishment that we saw happen. Over a period of time, we saw that several thousands of our customers ended up covering over 15 million kilometers in terms of what they had ridden. This is the more recent product. This was launched a couple of months ago. This is called the X47. This is again a fully electric motorcycle. It is a crossover motorcycle. It can deal with all kinds of road and all kinds of terrain that is thrown at it. And this was launched very recently. In terms of what came new, again, this was the first of its kind. This took about 4 years of development for us. We wanted to improve safety on motorcycles. And fundamentally, we were the first ones to introduce dual channel ABS on an electric motorcycle. But with this motorcycle, we introduced radar functions, which brings about blind spot detection, rear collision warning. All of the features that you typically associate with high-end cars is now available on a motorcycle, and that it costs only 2.5 lakh rupees on the roads today. We also, along the way, realized that the challenges don't just extend to introducing electric vehicles. Charging is a difficulty in our country. It requires a certain effort. So we ended up building out our own charging network and building out our chargers. And so this is what we have introduced. This is called the Supernova Plus and Supernova chargers. These are positioned on highways and it helps people charge their vehicles. We also use an interoperable format, which means that it works with other chargers. We had to start this ecosystem, and that's what we did a couple of years ago. Now we can see that third parties are also coming up in this space, and the charging network is taking shape. And this is the outcome of about now 8-10 years of work, that today the vehicles that we have built have covered over 15 million kilometers. They've offset tons of CO2, reduced the requirement for petrol significantly. And in today's day and age, reducing dependence on crude oils and petrol products from other countries, this is a necessity, and this is something that we've already gotten at scale. I'll hand it off to Narayan to talk about what else has been happening in the last couple of months.
So back in 2024 is when we initiated the certification process. It took us about 15 months to be completely certified, compliant with, like Neeraj mentioned, Europe and a set of 40 countries across the globe. Now, this goes back to decisions on the product and the hardware and the software that we took back in 2017 that enabled us now to smoothly sail and be compliant for all of these markets. Now, the F-77s are across all of these countries in Europe, and the feedback has been phenomenal. And this is the kind of response that you see in every trade show that we're part of. This is from one of the European trade shows, and I mean, moments like this is where we are able to step back and think about the impact that we started out with 10 years back and are able to create and command a very, very serious level of respect for Indian engineering and design at a global stage. So that is one of the most important things Ultraviolet aspired. Of course, there are business objectives for us to grow and scale as a company, but I think we hold true to our promise of moving the needle forward significantly when it comes to design and tech emerging from India. Now, automobiles, as we all know, cater to both the irrational and the rational side of our thought process. And the more you go into performance-oriented machines and desirable machines, the more that irrational quotient goes up. So this was a project that we took upon a couple of years back to really push the boundaries of what irrational thinking and engineering can result in. This is called the F-99, and today we proudly call ourselves the fastest Indians. And this is, in fact, factually accurate. So what you see is the F-99 concept motorcycle. We took on the challenge of creating the fastest automobile ever made in India. And when I say automobile, that's a carefully thought out word because it includes things on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, 6 wheels, and beyond. Now, the F-99, right from concept towards us getting it to reality and then taking it to the racetrack, where we set multiple records for the fastest quarter mile ever by an Indian automobile and the highest top speed ever by an Indian-made automobile. This was set in on Republic Day 2025 at a top speed of 258 kilometers per hour. And as of today, the vehicle is already clocking close to 270 kilometers an hour. So it's been incredible showcase of what technology can result in. In-house engineering of all of the subcomponents going into building efficiency, building performance. And while the F-99 today is a showcase of technology, for us, it's also building the base for future growth into multiple segments as we scale into global markets. So that's it from the two of us today. Very, very honored to be amongst elite company. Very inspiring stories that we've heard so far, about to hear moving forward as well. And what we do at Ultraviolet, I hope it inspires a lot more people in the hardware space, hardware, robotics, all of it to come together to see what we can truly do as a country. Thank you.